Is There Intelligent Life in Outer Space? By Toby Maloney. Well, is there? Based on all the evidence now assembled, it's the author's clear, unshakable and unequivocal opinion that he doesn't know. The cases for both the affirmative and negative are so bereft of adequate, sufficient or even detectable relevant evidence that any intelligent author would cease writing immediately. I shall continue. Now, a curious thing to observe is that a day never passes without top-ranking journalists and prime-time major media speculating on the subject of our inquiry. At the bottom of all this, and perhaps the cause of it, is another question, one much more urgent, immediate and close to hand, but thus far wholly neglected. Is there intelligent life on Earth? Throughout the millions of diversified terrestrial life forms, the universal consensus is a resounding no, but for one exception. The difficulties that arise for this singular exception in answering the question are many. At any trial conducted to decide upon the intelligence or otherwise of the species, the prosecutor, the defense attorney, the judge and jury, and all the witnesses can be none other than the defendants. Bias is beyond possibility, it's a certainty. Everyone at the hearing is under extreme duress to contribute a finding favourable to the allegedly unintelligent. No intelligent being would give the least credence to any outcome in these circumstances, yet the one contender for intelligence is wholly convinced of the veracity of its verdict. It is true that some specimens of Homo sapiens, when asked if they are intelligent, will answer no. This, however, is due to a stupid misunderstanding of the question. Their answer is no only in the sense that they believe themselves to be without intelligence relative to others. Asked in the sense of, do you have any intelligence at all, even the least modicum whatsoever, who can say no with sincere resolve? So here we are, human beings, contemptuous of intelligence in other known life forms, confident in our own, and speculative of a distant other intelligence, and, although without any prospect of an objective assessment of our own, at least one idiot is at least prepared to attempt to explore the possibility that there is no intelligence anywhere, utterly convinced that he is not clever enough to do so, but knowing that if he succeeds, he can triumph only if he has too little wit to be able to do it. In arguing this cause, I suspect that the best prospects exist in changing the subject, and I have no hesitation in doing so. What seems to be required is some topic with which men are fully obsessed, and of which they exhibit no discernible comprehension, but sufficient nous to be brought to realize it. Fortunately, one topic is ready to hand: money. Now, money is not existent in nature, but is created by man. It is, of course, no more a product of intelligence than is havoc created by a herd of elephants stampeding testimony to theirs. Having created it, there is not a single human being who will admit to having done so. All proclaim that theirs was earned, that is, acquired legitimately from already existent supplies. Thus, all insist upon money's creation, and none will admit to it. However, none can name any human association, entity, that claims the benefit of creating it and can sustain the argument. The most popular, unsustained explanation is that of the mint, which produces notes and coins. Here, I must introduce briefly another human creation that all find unintelligible: statistics. The Reserve Bank of Australia's bulletin, June 1998, insists that the total currency in existence, notes and coins produced by the mint, amount to $21 billion. In the same chart, they give the amount of money deposited in the banks as $314 billion. So the mint has produced $21 billion, which have deposited in the bank so often that we've achieved deposits of $314 billion. Each dollar deposited 15 times? To do this, we need 14 withdrawals of $1, which come off our deposits and would reduce them to $21 billion again. So far, we agree that money is created, nobody but the mint is known to be creating it. The mint has printed or coined only 7 of every $100 that exist, and since this 7% of our money, the notes and coins, is numbered and authenticated, we discount counterfeiting to supply the balance. Thus, we may know why we want it, but we don't know how we got it, 93% of it anyhow. Now there are, actually, some people, very few indeed, who claim to understand both that all money is created and how it is all created, and also who is creating it. They say it's done by the banks lending us money that doesn't exist, and when this loan money is spent, it creates deposits that then, but didn't previously, exist. In the absence of any other explanation at all, it is sometimes given a grudging acceptance, and a growing number believe it. A growing number believe the theory of relativity too, but who can say that they really understand it? Belief is, however, no testimony to intelligence. Only understanding evidences intelligence, and this, if it did exist among small numbers, would more readily be explained as the mutually agreed vanity of an elite for exploiting our universal stupidity and denying theirs. While belief is no evidence of intelligence, a lack of belief can sometimes affirm our soaring stupidity. The capitalist sector of the human race has decided to believe that a farmer who creates a cabbage, a weaver who creates a basket, and an author who creates a novel should have ownership of them. The socialist sector disputes that this is an acceptable belief. Curiously, neither has ever believed that those creating all our money keep its ownership for themselves. We know that they don't give the stuff away, but we can't believe that they would keep it for themselves. Thus, they neither give the ownership of it to us or anywhere else, nor keep the ownership of it for themselves. Now, after all this, if anyone still owns an uneaten hat, let's experiment with it. Let Bill own the hat and lend the use of it to Jack. Who now owns the hat? Bill, you say. What if Bill owns a cloakroom and Jack deposits his borrowed hat with Bill and gets a receipt from Bill for one hat? This receipt is negotiable and is traded by Jack to Tom for a shirt. Now Tom has the right to claim the hat, but it's a cloudy day. Furthermore, without a shirt, he has no pocket in which to keep his receipt safely. He decides to store the receipt for the hat in Bill's cloakroom, and Bill acknowledges Tom's deposit in his hat bank to the value of one hat. Then Harry, who's never had a hat and doesn't want one either, desires an umbrella. He finds just the one he wants. Alas, it's priced at 2 hats at Bob's shop, an impossible sum since only one hat exists. He consults Bill at his cloakroom. Bill realizes that only he knows how many hats exist in his cloakroom. He assures Harry that he will lend him 2 hats if he will agree to repay him 3 hats in 5 years' time, an increase of 1/10 of a hat per annum. Harry agrees, signs a mortgage over his pants, and anticipates his 2 hats. Has Bill got a problem? No. Harry gets his choice of hats. Bill says, you can either have 2 receipts for a hat, or alternatively, I'll allow you to overdraw your present deposit of nil hats by 2 using a hat check. See the hat check girl on your way out. Good day. But hang on, says Harry. Bob wants 2 hats for his umbrella, and you've given me no hat at all. Listen, Harry, says Bill. Bob no more wants 2 hats than he has 2 heads to wear them. Bob only wants the ownership of 2 hats with which to pay his way in life. This I have given you. You'll see. Bob will accept the 2-hat check or receipt more eagerly than real hats. Give him real hats and he'll only bring them back into the cloakroom this afternoon and demand receipts or a credit on his hat bank deposit account. Do him a favour. He's a busy man.